Oh, hey. I haven't seen you here in a while. What's that? Oh, yeah, I'd love to have casual intellectual intercourse about race theory. Bum 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 bum. So I'm remembering that back when I had an ego, I used to use this platform a lot to work through things I was thinking about, and I have since decided that I would like to reconstitute the ego that I lost, or maybe build a new one. And so I'm just having a little bit of an existential crisis in the midst of that, and I am inviting you to join me on this journey. We can figure it out together. I've been thinking a lot recently about my wants and my needs, and what even is that? I do everything for other people? What? So, in the process of reconstituting and or building from scratch a brand new ego, I have to figure out what things I like versus don't like. It's difficult. Now, since the grand existential expansion that I call my journey to enlightenment, I became a lot more aware of like the suffering in the world and how I was contributing to it, and like how it contributes to my suffering. And I think I overcommitted. I think I invested far beyond my means. And so now I have to figure out like who am I and what do I want to do if I'm not doing things for people. And that's difficult to do from this sort of constructed leftist entity. 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 I mean, more accurate description is deconstructed because, like, I sacrifice the bulk of the things that I like and want to do to the plight of helping other people in need. But, like, my needs are pretty fantastically great. Not as much as some people, right? I'm a light-skinned, tall, thin, you know, mask presenting person, and so like I don't come up against the same sort of ingrained traumas from childhood, the like dark skin, femme, etc., you know, trans binary people like have to come up against. But at the same time, like like it's rough. I was in flagrant ignorance, naivete, like denial of the sort of trauma that I have incurred over my lifetime. I've been in denial about my autism. I've been in denial about the trauma that I suffered from friends dying, from like living in a middle class setting but treated like a house servant. You know, I'm like dealing with a lot of things. But like I have the skills to get myself out of it in theory. So, how do I start to figure out what it is that I actually want and apply those things? It seems impossible. Just impossible. Okay, so technically step 1 should be figure out what I like. Do I like anything? I think I like anime. I think that's true. But I'm not trying to be part of this animation industry how it is now. It's trash. I don't want to be a keyframer. I don't want to be a storyboard artist. Not in an environment where it's been globalized and outsourced to all kinds of different. I mean, but then there's the bag I'm already trying to catch. You know what I'm saying? Like being a cartoon artist, an illustrator. You know, like an entrepreneur, like in the arts industry. You know what I'm saying? Like making my own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. I can't do that. Like how am I supposed to, like what kind of project am I putting together here? You know what I'm saying? Like really graphic novels? Really graphic? Who's gonna give me the whatever you call it, the money to make these things? You know what I'm saying? Like am I gonna be living off commissions for the rest of my life? Am I? Am I? Testing, testing, 1 2 3, testing, testing, do re mi, testing my settings. And like the real tragedy is that like I think that I got back into this because I had an epiphany about what it is that I could contribute to, you know, the polis, the polity, the people, the demos. I like realized that like as a black intellectual with literacy and like in a something of a grasp of the African American English dialect. Like I could have people see themselves in a world where I don't know, they're valued or like, something along those lines. I don't know. And like I'm not discounting that as a valid or important position to be in. Like I think that that is super great. Like I'm still excited in some respect about that. But like is that where my passion lies? Do you know what I'm saying? Like is making a black magical girl comic like me, or is it like, this egoless uh whatever you call it, amalgamation, sort of figuring out like what is the lowest common denominator in terms of what it is that I can do that will have the most impact and immediacy. And like I think it was more an answer to that question than it was like what is it that I want to do. And that's scary. That's fucking scary, man. Now, if you're wondering why I've engaged in this project of reconstituting my ego, it's because like I need things like a job, um, sustainable income, and I need to get out of this fucking house. You know, I need to get out of this fucking house because this is the house of a pair of fucking neo Nazis. My parents are black neo Nazis, and no matter how much enlightenment I have, I am unable to reconcile with like the status of needing to be a human in the world and having to live with a pair of motherfucking black fucking neo-Nazis. Like, can you even imagine? So my leftist ass needs to hop on right the fuck out of this spot, and I don't have the means to do it at the moment. I just don't have the education, don't have the skill set, don't have the social wherewithal, social intelligence, emotional intelligence to do that. And so I have to construct it. I have to build it. God, this is so fucking exhausting. Boom, 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 dun, 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 boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. Now, I think my biggest fear, if there's a fear that I have, it's that like I'm gonna end up reconstituting my ego and find out that like all of the internalized like white supremacist and capitalist sort of behavior that was ingrained in me, nurture style, as a youth by fucking neo-Nazis, will end up like being the main part of my ego. I don't know that I trust a version of myself with an ego. I don't know that I do. Is that my own trauma? Do I have to work through that? What's the deal here? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It's not a TED Talk. It's not sanctioned.